boys and girls, welcome back to art. Notice that I have a very long piece of paper here because we are going to be making giraffes, and giraffes, you know, have very long necks. They actually reach about 6 feet. Just their necks are 6 feet long and their legs are 6 feet long. So you've got some very tall animals. We are only going to be creating the head and the neck today, so we're not worrying about the body, so no worrying about that. We are using a piece of paper that I cut down to 6 inches wide and about 16 inches long. So, and I'm using just white, nice drawing paper because we are going to be painting on it. However, if you're at home, you can make it in a shorter version. You can also create it with dry materials as opposed to using paint. So the first thing I want to do is about right here, not exactly in the middle, but maybe a little bit, is I'm going to create a giant oval shape. This is going to be my giraffe's kind of muzzle or his nose area. So we're going to create that nice oval shape. The next thing I'm going to draw is his 2 ovals. And these are going to be his nose holes. And then you're going to create a very curved line. This is going to serve as the giraffe's head, and it's going to be kind of like a rainbow line. You're creating that curved line. I'm using a pencil right now, boys and girls, but later on we can trace it again with Sharpie. So we are also going to just create some ears here. If you have a different way you want to make the ears, you can do that, boys and girls. I'm just making them simple little curved lines, but again, if you want to change yours, you are more than welcome. I'm also just going to do some simple ovals for my eyes, and then I'm going to create his little horns up here that he has on top of his head. Just like that. So the last part, one of the most important parts, is we're going to actually trace or bring our neck down. So just right here, and I'm going to it's not exactly straight. I kind of have it going out a little bit at the bottom. So because that's where he's going to start getting wider. So, and another thing we can create is the giraffe has these spots on it, but they're not polka dots. They're more square or organic shapes. But you can create some shapes onto your giraffe, creating those giraffe spots. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use a Sharpie so that we can trace those lines and create black lines as opposed to pencil lines. So I have my Sharpie, boys and girls, and I'm going to use it to trace my lines. One of the first things I like to do is I'm going to color in his eyes, and you can either change it and have other things. I'm always using like these reflections and the dots on the dots to just kind of show some light and give a highlight in there. You don't have to do that. You can make your eyes how you want, boys and girls. This is your art, so if you want to change something, you can and make it your own creation. Now I'm going to trace some of my other details and the lines all on my giraffe, so by the time you're done, everything will be traced in Sharpie. I'm also going to color in my nose holes or nostrils here on my giraffe, and go ahead and trace your entire giraffe using your Sharpie marker. So, boys and girls, I have traced my entire giraffes. There's some of the details that I will go back in and add, but I also have a bucket of crayons and some texture plates. We've talked about these and used these before when we were doing our monsters in the beginning of the year. We're going to be using them underneath, and you can use any type of material that has some kind of texture underneath to rub with crayons on here and create texture. So I'm going to be using my crayons to actually color on top of, but when I do, boys and girls, I'm going to make sure that I am, 1, pressing down so that I can get that nice texture in there, but 2, I need to make sure that I am staying inside my spots and getting so you can see the texture forming underneath. I'm getting the color inside the line, so that way it's not messing up. So I'm going to change colors, and I'm going to use different colors to create my spots. And I'm also going to just change out textures. You do not have to change out your textures, boys and girls. You can use the same texture throughout. I'm just going to see if there's some other ones that I like better, but you can see the texture in the lines inside my coloring here. So create color and texture in your spots using crayons and texture under there. Boys and girls, so I have finished adding color. Notice I do have the white that's left on my giraffe, but I have added texture and color to all my pieces besides just the background of his fur. And so I'm going to use paint with those next week, but as of right now, you just need to get your lots of color, lots of beautiful color on there. Get your giraffe drawn, the black Sharpie, texture, and color. And I will see you next week, boys and girls.